Phase one deal signed, sealed, and delivered. USMCA passes, and Dershowitz to defend Trump? What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, the 19th of January, 2020. It's football day, one of the saddest days of the year because there's only one game left after today. But in the meantime, here we are. And of course, the market's made new highs. The China deal got signed. USMCA is passed. And the impeachment battle wages on. It's just a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of the same old ridiculous crap. And of course, I continue to get the same old ridiculous, dumbass emails about that are always left biased. It's amazing that we just can't be neutral and figure out who's best. But again, what's the difference? You know, that's what we become, and you know, we love. I guess we must just love that swamp in Washington instead of somebody trying to clean it up. But in the meantime, here we are. Markets make new highs. Okay, in the face of the beginning of a recession. Again, we stand by that. It's not that it has changed. It doesn't mean it's going to be tomorrow, and it doesn't mean it's going to affect the markets. Just always remember that they don't necessarily correlate until they do. And for now, okay, I would say the most evil, okay, is the Federal Reserve that allows the wealthy to keep gaining that capital because, of course, the average middle class person can't take advantage of all this free capital. And I think it's one very simple thing you can look at. Okay, if you're a big major company that knows that for every dollar of cash you can bring in, you can generate 10%, and you can borrow at 3% or 4% or 2%, what would you be doing? You'd be borrowing every dime you can. So the bubble that we continue to see grow, okay, and this is not a bubble that's just this part of the market, but the bubble that we've seen in the bond market since 1980, that was the birth of Greenspan. That was the birth of bubble building. I mean, the Fed has been a joke since its inception, especially considering who created it. Okay, we won't go into the names, but I'm sure you know who they are by now. And by its very name itself, the Federal Reserve, although they are supposedly a private corporation, again, we know that was destiny to take from the poor and give to the rich and let them get a lot richer. And of course, the whole Fed policy does the same thing, because what the Fed policy really does is it destroys the true free market, because what we really now trade is money. Okay, if money's cheap enough, values are higher. If money is cheap, then value, it's the same old story. And of course, there's talk that they're going to end up going negative, and again, based on what the rest of these central bankers have done around the world, based on what we have seen, okay, obviously it would be no surprise. I mean, again, you have to remember that we are borrowing that money when we sell treasury bonds, okay? And so when we're borrowing, why not pay 1% when nobody else is paying anything? Or why don't we do 0.5%? We would still get plenty of money in. And there are those who say, well, that nobody's going to give money to the U.S. Well, of course they're going to give money, because they have to get a return somewhere. Okay, there's those out there talking about the collapse of the United States of America. Well, I would say that, of course, those are the typical jackasses that are peddling the fear to get you to buy something else, get you to buy gold, whatever. And again, I'm not against gold. I own gold, and I will continue to do so. Okay, and I will continue to buy more. I am a believer in the precious metals as one of the asset classes that we do own and should own, okay? But it's nothing more than a hard asset commodity, and at some point could be a potential currency to use. But at the end of the day, again, those calling for 10,000 gold and, ridiculous boom prices should all go have their heads examined, okay? Because again, yes, gold will probably hit 10,000 one day, just like the Dow Jones Industrials will hit 100,000 someday. But there's a lot of areas between now and then. For example, can gold get back over 1,600? Okay, but in the meantime, there's talk, and there's been talk for years. And again, this is the BS manipulation by the media, and China's gold hoarding, right? China's been supposedly hoarding gold forever. Okay, now again, if that is true, and I'm not saying that it's not true, okay. Is there any gold left in the world? Is there any gold in Fort Knox? Okay. But if China is hoarding gold, why are prices not going bananas? Okay. Again, you have to at least take a logical point of view and a logical view at what's going on. And if you say that it's happening, then why are prices not rising? Okay. I mean, again, if we can go back to the Hunt brothers. Okay. I mean, if we know that somebody's hoarding, okay, is anybody selling to them easily? I would think not. But again, look, this is where we've got to with our reporting. This is why we have a left media, a right media, and very few that are just center media. Okay. And there's a lot more left media. Okay. Which is what I love when I continue to get links and reports of why we should be looking for a president in Biden or Warren. Really? Okay. So I can either have a liar or I can have somebody who should be in a crypt. Okay. In the meanwhile, okay, the markets continue strong. Okay. But we've seen manufacturing continues to decline. Okay. Although jobs are the strongest they've ever been, okay, unfortunately, there's not enough people to fill the open jobs. So some of that's a little bit tricky to go by. Now, again, there will be people trained for these jobs over time, but unfortunately, and this started with the first shot fired by President Obama. And again, this has nothing to do with Obama, okay, whether I like him or I don't like him. But when they really stop with coal, okay, instead of saying, we'll give you 10 years to get educated, okay, so that you can go into a new field, and we just ended it. And of course, those are things that need to be done. We need to start to educate our people into what the new careers are going to be, which is obviously very technical, very, a lot of code writing and things like that, okay. And we just can't, it's just not a straight switch over, okay? From when we went from from a plow that was pulled by a horse to a small, tractor, we've gone much faster, okay? And it's interesting to listen to the imbeciles in the media talk about how fast we just went up 1,000 points, okay? The fastest ever. Well, gee, isn't that shocking? That we went up the 1,000 points faster, and considering that 1,000 points in the market now is less than a 4% move. Okay, I mean, we could do that in one day. Are we kidding ourselves with this? But we did say it. Manufacturing has peaked. Now, will it come back in? Sure, it'll come back again. But the point here is very simple. Okay, we are seeing some slowdown. We are seeing things change a little bit. Now, we certainly won't call an end to today, and certainly we're not calling an end to the market here, okay? But look at China, slowest growth in 29 years. Okay, now what does that mean? Well, today it doesn't mean anything at the moment because you never know about China's numbers to begin with, okay? But we do know there's some very, very serious issues over there, okay? Now, again, when one major economy suffers, they are typically not the only one. And we will continue to see, okay, the economies around the globe which are struggling. I mean, we are in a major recession in many places in the world. And again, when we went back to Greece and places like that, that wasn't, that was no big ordeal. That was the GDP of Indiana. Okay. But now you're starting to see some of the more major economies running these troubles. And of course, that just indicates that it's a coming. It's a coming. Now, again, it's not that we should be worried that it's coming. Our worries should always remain with the Fed that continues to try to prop it up. For some reason, somebody somewhere convinced everybody that you can avoid going through recession. Now, we all know that that is an impossibility. Okay. So all they do is they prolong it as long as possible, which makes the crisis all that much bigger when it happens. So tell me again, what is the benefit of the Federal Reserve? Okay. Tell me why I need the Federal Reserve not following any parts of the charter of what it was built on. Okay. Tell me how it works. And that would make me, much more stable and understanding why. Okay. Now, obviously, there are many out there calling for the correction of the markets. Now, will there be a correction? I guarantee it 100%, we will at some point have a market correction. When? I have no idea. It could be tomorrow. Well, it won't be tomorrow because tomorrow's closed. But we have had some major down days on Dr. Martin Luther King Day. Okay. But again, it will be a week. Will it start a week from tomorrow? Will it start a year? Nobody knows. Anybody who says that they know when this correction is going to begin is a lying idiot. Okay. There is no way to know when it's coming, because where is the money coming from right now? Is it coming from major pension funds? That's showing to prove no. It seems that the major, like CalPERS in New York, CalPERS, California, and New York's pension, it looks like they're going some of the emerging markets. So where is the money coming from? Is this the last bit of chasing going on? Nobody knows. Okay, so which means nobody knows when the final bell is going to ring. Okay, but I think what we look at here is that we just know that statistically, okay, and again, forget about that Bubba says that we're in the beginning of a recession. Forget about what's going on anywhere else. We just know statistically that the markets will at some point have another correction. It's that simple. When? Listen, it could be tomorrow again. It could be a year from now. We don't know. And we're not going to try to guess. Okay. We'll talk more about that in our market segment. But again, why bother trying to guess? Okay. And of course, as I said, Dershowitz is on Trump's legal team. A lifetime Democrat, okay, is on Trump's defense team, okay, which why he needs a defense team is beyond me as well, because again, this is as partisan and as dumb as you can possibly be, that we're trying to impeach Trump. Of course, I've been trying to impeach him from when he came down the escalator before he announced, okay. So again, that was part of the campaign, and of course, that will, in my opinion, lead to a certain victory in 2020 for the current president, and should be able to more than likely give back the House to the Republicans. Okay. And again, not that I'm so thrilled about that either, is because, as you know, I stand more in the middle, and I preferred when we were more down the center and weren't so abstract on both sides, of course, which is why I remain personally a libertarian. But in the meantime, we are going to step out of here for a break. This is Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, the 19th of January, 2020. And we'll be right back with more. Well, everybody, tomorrow on Martin Luther King Day at noon Eastern, I'm going to go and run one of my webinars on futures trading, how to be a part-time day trader if you want. If you'd like to choose, you're welcome to come and join it. Just go to the website and sign up for the link. If you have any trouble there, just email me. I'll send you the information. And of course, Saturday we'll be talking about hedging. Okay, our final hedging webinar before the class begins on how to use synthetic stock only. Okay. And thirdly, we have a brand new portfolio into our mix of portfolios, which represents the metals only for those of you who are gold bugs. Okay. So in the meantime, don't forget about our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. Now let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with yours truly, Todd Bubba Horowitz. We'll be right with you. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, January the 19th, 2020. And of course, markets made new highs. New highs, right? The gray skies are going to clear up and new highs are coming. And they're going to keep coming. And they're going to keep coming. And like musical chairs, when the music stops, nobody knows. Okay. But again, we are going to, of course, remain long. Okay. Because again, my question to you is, why would I want to do anything else? Why would I want to get in the way of this? Take a look at a couple of the stocks. I mean, these are some of the ones we have in our equity portfolios. Apple, 115-point profit in 3 months. Okay. BABA, 80 points. NVIDIA, 50 points. Why would I want to get away from that? Okay. Again, will we lose a little bit of money when the market turns? Yeah. But in the meantime, our equity portfolios are at all-time highs. Even our portfolio that was under the most amount of pressure, the FANGs, are at all-time record highs in our portfolios. Why would I ask you, would I want to get away from that? So I'm begging you, okay, if you think you need to get short, go take a walk, okay? Turn the machine off or find something that is weak. There's always something to sell if you feel compelled that you cannot buy right now. Now, you know our theory is to always be 100% invested and hedged. But again, for now, we are long across the board and we ain't changing today, okay? In the meantime, oil, again, crude is, I'm on the right side now because I like it. I mean, mentally I'm on the right side, not necessarily on the right side, but for now we're on the right side. Obviously, we got short crude much higher than here, and it's been under tremendous pressure now. Now again, it did hold 58 fairly well and popped. I would look at 60 as some resistance and look for a pullback. I do now think that the high 40s will come into play. Now, again, obviously, there's about 3 spots before it's going to get there, but that's what we'll be looking for. And of course, hopefully, we'll be looking to stay short. I hate to have to reverse out, but again, if I have to, I will, because again, I'm trading 100% mechanically based on our proprietary algorithms. I am not going to argue with that. That would be awfully stupid, considering that our futures portfolios are also now at all-time equity highs. So be kind of dumb to try to fight that, okay? The bonds, they continue to churn back and forth, which is just the battle of interest rates. And again, I personally believe that, the bond market, as I've said, or the fixed income market is the biggest market in the world, and they're the one market that can give the Fed the run for their money. And right now, they seem to want rates to go higher, okay? The market certainly would warrant higher rates, which we've talked to you about many times, but we are short the treasuries, but they have been rather annoying. They're not hurting us, but they have not been able to break down to the bottom end. So it's something, of course, we'll continue to watch. Interesting action in the ag space. Grains, wheat looks phenomenal. Okay, it never wavered throughout all this. Soybeans, we reversed soybeans and got short early in the week. I think that again, I don't ever like being short grains personally. Okay, especially at these kind of prices. But we're short beans, and I think again, they could go a little bit lower. I think 920 is a real key if you look at March. Interesting, the first time in my history that I can remember doing this using my proprietary stuff is we had a reversal in one day, okay? We got short corn on Friday morning after the big ugly down day on Thursday, okay? And we're going to be reversing it on Tuesday or tonight. Okay, because I'm not sure if they're open there or not. Either tonight or tomorrow night, we'll be reversing back to the long side of corn. Never seen that, okay, that I can remember. But again, that's why we just take it mechanically, and it's just robotic. This is what I'm going to do. I already know it. So the next time the corn markets are open, and they probably don't open tonight, the Globex markets are open, which for sure bonds, currencies, equities will be trading. Metals and crude. They will be trading electronically till 1 o'clock tomorrow Eastern time. Okay. Of course, there'll be no Bubba's Daily Update tomorrow because the market is not open. But of course, the products will be trading on most likely thin volume, unless there's something. I do remember a Martin Luther King years and years ago that the markets were down about 800. So, but in the meantime, we don't expect any of that to happen. But of course, we don't know what's happening globally, or if something's going to happen between now and the time they open at 6 o'clock Eastern tonight. The meats, the cattle markets look fine. Okay, they continue just to churn in a consolidation range. No concern here yet. Hogs, we did reverse back to the short side. And again, I say to you that, again, if they can't hold 66, I think it's going to get ugly. I would like to see them. I'm not a big fan, again, of being short at this price, but certainly I'm not going to argue. And I think that you can look for them to, if they break this 66 level, I think you've got some serious trouble, as they say. There'll be trouble in River City. Okay, but we'll see again. Maybe they won't, and maybe we'll reverse. And again, the beauty of what we do is each time they get pulled down, our reversal point comes back closer. So again, we're not in danger, and nor am I ever in danger, basically. So I'm not concerned about it. Okay, I just want you to understand what our position is and what I have, so that you are in sync, and I'm giving you exactly what I have. And of course, for those of you out there that have money's invested with others, be careful. There's a lot of investigations going on. There's a lot of phony stuff happening. Once again, we've seen it before. The Madoff type of stuff. So I urge you to be careful, and I urge you to have what's exactly going on with your money. Okay, again, whether you use my methods or not, obviously we don't manage anybody's money. We want you to manage your own. We just want to be able to recommend what you should do with it when you have it. Okay, so I think that is something. But I think interestingly enough, and again, I have to pay very close attention to this. Okay, Tepper and Druckenmiller. Okay, Tepper, who now owns the Carolina Panthers, he was one of the first ones to be on board with this rally that figured it out, in 2009, okay, and 10, he has been trumpeting the continuation, and he's still riding the wave. Okay, he's Appaloosa, by the way, and Druckenmiller, who's more of a known bearish kind of guy usually, is also riding. So again, when will this bull market rally end? There's no way to know. Okay, again, anybody who tries to guess is only hurting themselves. If you think, again, that you can outsmart, outguess, outthink the markets, you're a nut job. It does not happen. It cannot be done. Anybody can get lucky once. Okay, many people have been lucky, once. But again, it's about consistency and being able to take the pressure on when you're wrong. And as we've said, almost every day. Okay. Trade away if you want to trade. Just know where your exit's going to be, okay? And it would be that simple, okay? Know where you're going to get out. And if you do that, then it doesn't really matter, okay? So again, we look for markets. We look for everything, obviously, but just based on our algorithms, based on my own positions. I expect nothing to change, okay? We are about 90% long right now, okay? Throughout all of our equity pairs, let's say 90% long. Again, I'm not saying that it won't change tomorrow or Tuesday. I'm not saying that we won't be wrong on part of this, but obviously the gains have been so huge, it's not going to matter. And at some point, we'll be thrilled to have a reversal. But overall complacency is still weighing, is keeping the markets floating. The inability, the lack of places to invest money is still there. I mean, again, where are you going to go? So you can't go anywhere else. Money is going to try to find more money, which is why a lot of concerns. Junk bonds are being well overbid, which is not a good situation. Okay, when the values go down so far, it's just telling you, it's begging you to be careful, as I am. And again, I'm in 100%. Okay, my equity portfolio, my retirement money is in, will stay in 100%. That's it. I will not be getting out. I will continue to remain hedged. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, January the 19th, 2020. We're going to stop out here for a break. We'll be back with my commentary right after the break. So, again, tomorrow at noon Eastern time, we will be doing a webinar on futures part-time day trading, usually showing you our exclusive patterns. And, again, if you'd like to come and check it out, it's free. You can come and listen to me talk for an hour and ask me any question you want. I'll be happy to answer it. So all you do is go to the website, bub@bubbatrading.com. Check it out. It's bubbatrading.com, or you can email me at bub@bubbatrading.com and you can check it out. And of course, Saturday, we're going to do our final hedging webinar right before the class starts, showing you 100% a webinar on how to use synthetics. Okay. So in the meantime, don't forget about our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. And now let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line, my commentary, and of course, my football picks. Who could live without those? Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd, Bubba Horwitz, and of course, each and every week, I give you a little bit of my commentary and a little bit of my thoughts, and it just happens to be, and I happen to notice that Andrew Yang pulled out of the election, and of course, everybody's mouthing off about the wealth inequality and the socialistic views of what we should have, and I think the real question that I want to ask you, okay, where are the poor people saying that we should have wealth equality? All I see is those that are wealthy already that are looking for wealth equality. Okay, Andrew Yang, Elizabeth Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, all the rich are crying for wealth equality. Okay, where were they before? Okay, why are they now? Now they've made it. Okay. It's amazing that you didn't see them giving their money away as they're getting them. No, you saw them spending millions of dollars to figure out ways to hide that money. So now they can become big shots. Robert De Niro, another jackass. Okay, guys who are making $50 million to do a film. Why are you not donating that money to bring the equality up for everybody? Okay, and the same goes for Warren Buffett, who wants to pay more taxes. Well, Warren, if you want to pay more taxes, then why do you take $12 million in dividends and only $100,000 in salary? Why don't you take the $12 million in salary so that you can pay a higher tax rate? Okay, aren't you the same guy who whined and complained about the tax inversion? Okay, which was when companies were buying out of the United States offices so that they could pay their taxes through there. And then didn't you, Mr. Buffett, go out and buy Thornton's in whatever? I mean, it's not Thornton's. I'm losing my mind. But didn't you just go buy a Canadian company right after you made your big speech of inversion? So I love how the socialist Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, who both have made millions of dollars, okay, and Bernie never worked a day in his life, okay, made millions of dollars, okay, and his wife, who got kicked out for screwing a school, okay, got a big millions of dollars settlement. Where's your big donation to bring it back to the wealth equality? Help me out here. All of you, you big stars out there on the left coast of idiocy, okay, where is your big donations? Okay, you've got the worst homeless problem in the world right in your state. Build something. Take some of that money out of the bank. Okay? Quit trying to spend other people's money. Spend your own. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horwitz. And of course, each and every week we have, this is it. Okay, I got one more game after this. Football today. San Francisco against Green Bay Packers. Wisconsin, John, I'm sorry. I'd love to go with the Packers, but I got to take the Niners here. Okay, it's amazing, and it's amazing how, just a little political, how amazing how San Francisco hated Nick Bosa. Okay, because he's a Trump fan. They love him now, though. Amazing how sports could change somebody's mind. In the meantime, I think San Francisco. This to me will be a close game if so, but I do think that San Francisco will cover the 7.5 points, and I think the Cinderella story for the Tennessee Titans is over. All right, I think they get their clock cleaned. I would expect to see a 20 to 30 point victory. Pat Mahomes lights it up, and the Kansas City Chiefs whip the you know what out of Derrick Henry and the Titans. And Derrick Henry has been a great run. You guys have done a great job as a 6 seed. Your day is over. We like Kansas City and San Francisco. And for you, have a nice weekend, everybody. Day off for some of you tomorrow. Some of us will be working. I'll be working anyways, but markets are closed except for electronically. Banks are closed. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your day off tomorrow if you got one. In the meantime, we'll see you Tuesday with Bubba's Day Up. That I'll be coming to you from St. Louis because I'll be speaking at the at Family Farms on Tuesday. But in the meantime, everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy the football games. We'll see you next week right here on Bubba's Bottom Line.